Some memories shine because they are noble. Others shine because they are embarrassing, funny, and impossible to forget. Nika's childhood had plenty of both, but the mischievous ones often ran faster. They leapt over fences, climbed trees, hid in leaves, and splashed into the river before anyone could stop them. One summer, the cherries ripened. A cherry tree in full fruit is a serious danger to a child with quick feet and an imagination larger than his conscience. The red fruit glowed among the leaves like tiny treasures. Nika looked at them and began the oldest argument in childhood: only one handful, only one taste, surely no one will notice. He climbed. At first, he felt careful. Then he felt clever. Then he felt rich. The leaves hid him, the cherries were sweet, and the world below seemed wonderfully far away. But stolen sweetness has a way of making branches louder. A voice rose from below. The owner had seen him. Suddenly the tree became too tall, the ground too distant, and the cherries much less innocent. Nika scrambled down with the speed of guilt. Across the garden he ran, through grass, dust, startled hens, barking dogs, and the laughter of anyone lucky enough to witness another child's trouble. By evening, the whole village knew. News in a village travels faster than a guilty boy. There were scoldings, of course. But there was also laughter. Adults condemned the theft while secretly admiring the climb. Children repeated the story because it had everything: temptation, courage, discovery, escape, and humiliation. Nika learned that a stolen cherry can taste sweet for 1 second and sour for the rest of the day. Then there was the hoopoe, proud bird of the morning. In humility, it called from its tree as if it had been hired by every grown-up in the village. To adults, it was only a bird. To Nika, it was the messenger of chores, lessons, and unwanted responsibility. When the hoopoe called, morning became official, and Nika considered that deeply unfair. So he made a plan. If the bird summoned the day, then perhaps removing the bird would improve the day. It was not wisdom, but it had the confidence of wisdom. Nika caught the hoopoe carefully and carried it away, imagining quiet mornings, confused adults, and a victory for sleepy children everywhere. For a brief moment, he felt like a genius. Then the grown-ups began to notice. The village, which had many eyes and even more opinions, slowly gathered the truth. The bird returned. Morning returned. Chores returned. And Nika discovered that stealing the messenger does not stop the message. Dawn does not ask permission. But the greatest call of all was the river. On hot days, the ozana glittered beyond reason. The air shook with heat, the dust rose from the road, and the water looked like freedom itself. For Nika and his friends, the river was a kingdom without teachers, chairs, or errands. They ran toward it as if nothing in the world could be more urgent. They splashed, shouted, laughed, and forgot every instruction ever given to them. The river made them equal and wild. The sunlight danced on their metal faces. Their small robot hands threw bright water into the air. For a little while, they belonged only to summer. But Nika's mother had a talent that bordered on magic. Smaranda knew where mischief hid. She could follow silence, wet footprints, and suspicion with the precision of a hunter. When she appeared on the riverbank, the water did not stop shining, but the joy changed shape. Nika suddenly remembered everything he had forgotten. The walk home was long, wet, and quiet. A scolding waited at the end of it, and Nika deserved more of it than he wished to admit. Yet memory softens what the moment cannot bear. Years later, he would remember not only the fear of being caught, but the love behind the anger. Smiranda was not fighting the river. She was fighting carelessness. She was trying to keep her son alive long enough to become a man. Cherries, hoopoe, rivers, small things, perhaps. But childhood is built from small things that feel enormous. A tree becomes a fortress. A bird becomes an enemy. A river becomes paradise. A mother's call becomes thunder. And one day, all of it becomes a story. The funny stories are often the ones that tell the truth most clearly. A child stealing cherries is not only stealing cherries. He is testing desire against consequence. He is asking whether the world is as watchful as his mother says. He is discovering that sweetness becomes complicated when it is taken in secret. Nika's mind, before every mischief, worked like a little courtroom where he was always both lawyer and judge. The lawyer explained that he was hungry, that the tree had too many cherries, that perhaps the owner would not mind, that perhaps the fruit might spoil if no heroic child intervened. The judge, being the same person, agreed immediately. This is how many childhood disasters begin. The hoopoe episode had the same innocent foolishness. Nika did not hate the bird. He hated what the bird represented: the end of sleep, the beginning of duties, the victory of morning over dreams. In a child's logic, the symbol and the thing are often the same. Remove the bird, and perhaps the day itself will become kinder. But the world does not work according to sleepy wishes. The hoopoe was part of a rhythm older than Nika's annoyance. Morning came because morning comes. The bird only gave it a voice. That is why the story remains funny and wise at once. Nika's plan was ridiculous, but the feeling beneath it was real. Every child has wanted, at least once, to hide the thing that summons responsibility. The river, however, was different. The river did not tempt him with theft or trickery. It tempted him with freedom. It offered movement, coolness, laughter, and the feeling of being beyond reach. In the water, children forget the clock. They forget shoes, lessons, hunger, and warnings. For a little while, they become pure joy. Smiranda's arrival on the riverbank is funny because every child knows that moment. The instant paradise becomes evidence. 1 second the world is water and sunlight. The next second it is consequences. Nika's wet metal body, his startled eyes, his silent friends, and his mother's expression tell the whole story without a word. Yet the memory would not have lasted if it were only punishment. It lasts because love is hiding underneath it. Smiranda's anger is the shape her fear takes. She knows rivers can be dangerous. She knows children believe themselves immortal until the world proves otherwise. She scolds because she wants him to have more summers. That is the secret warmth of these mischiefs. The stories laugh at Nika, but they protect him too. They allow us to see childhood without making it noble or cruel. Children are not little saints. They are hungry, proud, frightened, inventive, and very often wrong. But they are also bright with life. Nika's mistakes are not stains on the memory. They are the sparks that make it glow. By the end of this part, the village has become a stage for the comedy of growing up. Trees, birds, rivers, neighbors, parents, and friends all take their turn. And Nika, caught again and again, becomes more than a boy in trouble. He becomes the part of us that remembers wanting the sweet fruit, fearing the morning, loving the river, and learning too late that mothers usually know everything.